Today's faces of boxing may not be tomorrow's. It was the fistic lesson of 2004. First, the longtime king of the pound-for-pound rankings, Roy Jones, set out to prove his life and death struggle with Antonio Tarver the year before had been some kind of a hiccup.
I do not lose. I don't do that. They gave the wrong man a second chance.
But the hiccup suddenly turned into whooping cough.
Do you have any questions?
I got a question. You got any excuses tonight, Roy?
When Tarver landed a perfect counter shot flush on Jones's chin.
And down goes Jones on a hard left hand. Jones may not get up.
It's over!
And that's amazing.
Then the richest of the supernovas, Oscar De La Hoya, reached for what ring experts said was an unreachable star, moving up to middleweight to challenge the longtime keeper of that kingdom, Bernard Hopkins. The experts were right. Oscar was unhorsed by a single body shot.
It's a Bernard Hopkins knockout of Oscar De La Hoya.
Believe me, I tried getting up. I couldn't do it.
A week later, in what was thought to be a safe return, Jones was down again, KO'd after an 8-round onslaught by quality journeyman Glenn Johnson.
And he is still out on the canvas and hurt badly.
And finally, a people's favorite, Sugar Shane Mosley, saw his ring legacy continue to sour. Even after his March loss to Winky Wright, Mosley stubbornly argued he could reverse the negative tactical equation of the matchup. But in November, Winky was still too big and too left-handed for Shane, who joined De La Hoya and Jones in wondering how the mantle of invincibility could so completely have slipped away.
The face of boxing to many fans and non-fans alike is the heavyweight champions. So when Lennox Lewis retired early this year, the race to find a new face was on.
Let the next era begin.
Favored to succeed him was Vitaly Klitschko, based on his gutsy effort in Lewis's last fight and on a crowd-pleasing brawl with Corey Sanders for Lewis's belt.
Finally, the referee rescues Sanders, and Vitaly Klitschko stakes his claim.
But there were other heavyweight belts belonging to other faces. Chris Bird, the best American heavyweight, managed just a draw with Andrew Galata and a split decision over Jameel McCline. And in another of his agony fights, John Ruiz out-wrestled Galata. Given the lackluster performances of the Americans, Vitaly Klitschko, who battered Dan Williams last week, made the strongest case for recognition as the heavyweight champion.
Sometimes yesterday's face is tomorrow's reborn star. Autumn '04 brought unexpected springtime to 3 of the sport's most decorated careers. After 2.5 years in retirement, Puerto Rico's Felix Trinidad strode into a raucous Madison Square Garden and dramatically outslugged Nicaraguan bombshell Ricardo Mayorga in an electrifying toe-to-toe test of manhood.
He drops his hands and says, "Come on, hit me." It is indeed the Hagler Hearns of the new millennium. It's a 2-word headline, everybody. Tito's back.
And soon thereafter, junior welterweight powerhouse Costa Tszyu was back as well. After 2 years of injury and inactivity, Tszyu used his still imposing right hand to blast Charmbe Mitchell out in 3. And in one of the decade's best fights so far, Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera met to complete a historic trilogy. The smaller, more ring-worn Barrera also proving quicker and more accurate.
A raging passion. They'll savagely trade until the final bell.
Barrera earned a second close decision over his countryman and bitter rival, and for the 3rd separate time in his career, claimed a spot among the sport's most elite names.
The featherweight division ruled by Barrera and Morales for almost a decade gave us high drama without them. Juan Manuel Marquez survived 3 first-round knockdowns.
Manny Pacquiao is a storm.
To earn a draw with Manny Pacquiao. Knockout terror Pacquiao emerged as a star last year. Now, a cluster of exciting young fighters is on the verge of joining him. Junior welterweight Miguel Cotto of Puerto Rico looked like the complete boxer-puncher, stopping Kelson Pinto and finishing off Randall Bailey. Middleweight Jermaine Taylor from Little Rock added a couple of former stalwarts to his resume, beating Raul Marquez and then dominating William Joppy. Lightweight Juan Diaz of Houston glowed in defeating title holder Lak Vassin. And featherweight Rocky Juarez, also of Houston, punched himself into contention. They all dream not only of being champions, but of being names. Maybe even boxing's next face. Boxing has no single face today, but rather a crowd of them fighting for our attention.
It's high noon in Vegas.